Howdy folks, I'm Regal Red Admiral, randomly reading royal romances.
I'm Amber.
And here are more royal romances for us to read. I guess that's what we do when we're admirals. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Live with My Husband's Mom just so that she can raise our child her way? Okay, so I need to get this off my chest before I lose it. So here's what's been going on. I'm a 26-year-old and I'm a first-time mom, married for 3 years. We just had a baby 5 months ago, and it's been overwhelming, but beautiful and terrifying, and all the things that people say it is, and also exhausting. Like, I haven't slept properly since birth, and some days I can barely keep track of my own name. So here's where my husband's mom comes in. At first, she helped out a bit, and she bought diapers, and it was very kind of her. I appreciated it, and I really did. But then it started getting weird, and she would correct how I changed diapers, and she told me that I was holding my baby wrong, and once she took my son from my arms because apparently I was too tense, and babies can sense that. I was breastfeeding, and she said this, "You guys should just move in with me. I raised 3 boys, and I know what I'm doing. You still have a lot to learn." Excuse me? She kept pushing the idea like it was this magical solution. It will be easier. You'll have more help. But let's be real, this isn't about help. This is about control. She wants a say in everything. What my son eats, when he sleeps, what kind of clothes he wears. She even said that it would be better for the baby to call her mama in the early months because I look too stressed to bond properly. I told my husband no, straight up. I said that I'm not moving into his mom's house just so that she can take over as a second or first mom to our kid. I thought that he would back me up. Instead, he says, "Babe, you're overreacting. She just wants to help. It's temporary, and she did raise us." So what now? I don't know how to raise my own child because I didn't pop out 3 boys in the 90s. I feel like I'm losing my mind. My house doesn't even feel like it's my own anymore. She drops in without calling, rearranges stuff in the nursery. Once I came home and she had washed my breast pump parts and moved them into her own cabinet. Who does that? My husband keeps saying that I should be grateful, that other people wish they had this kind of help. But honestly, it doesn't feel like help at this point. It feels like someone trying to replace me, while my own partner stands there doing nothing. So yeah, I said I'm not living under her roof, and now I'm the problem. She's mad, he's cold, and I'm sleep deprived, overwhelmed, and second guessing everything. All I want to do is raise my child in peace, in my own space, with my own rules. So I finally asked him, whose family are we building? Yours and hers are ours. Now everyone's mad. But tell me, am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. It does sound like she is trying to replace you and steal your kid. Is there anywhere else you can stay? Because, like, first of all, if your husband doesn't, he needs to step up. He needs to step up yesterday. Um, but if he's not willing to do that, it may be time to separate or divorce. Is there anyone you can stay with and keep the kid with? And because this is giving me very bad vibes.
What in the Stepford Wives have we fallen into? I don't know if it's quite Stepford Wives level, but I mean, like the whole idea that OP has to do everything perfectly the first time and be natural at being a mom, and that if OP is too stressed or too this or that, then they're not the perfect mom, and so OP's mother-in-law should take over?
Well, then it's all just excuses. Mother-in-law wants this baby.
Yeah.
She wants to either raise the baby with her son and wants Opie out of the picture, and that's really all it boils down to. She nothing. Opie could do everything right, quote unquote right, and there would always be some fault mother-in-law could find because it's not about OP. It's about OP being an obstacle in mother-in-law's ability to raise her new child.
Yeah, what happens when the kid gets older and the mother-in-law just drops in and takes the kid whenever they want?
Yeah, like that's the thing is like if there are not boundaries put in place ASAP, this is going to get to be a very bad situation very quickly. A very messy situation where OP and the grandma are both fighting to be known as mom, and OP's husband is just sitting on the sidelines saying, "Well, she raised me, so just let her do it."
Yeah, I mean, I agree with your assessment here that maybe getting out of the household is the best course of action at this point in time. That this is potentially a dangerous situation for the child because, we do know that uh, grandmothers in the past have kidnapped
I mean,
children, right?
so many missing kids are abducted by
Family
either
members.
by some kind of family member.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't want to like raise alarms prematurely or anything like that, but this is starting to get to that point where it's starting to feel very uncomfortable for the way that the mother-in-law is acting here. I think that it would be a good idea to go low or no contact with her. She's not going to get that kind of support with the husband.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe divorce is the way to go. I mean,
Yeah, and potentially seek legal counsel to figure out what you can do. Because unfortunately, since the kid is also his, he will presumably be able to get some amount of custody, and there's no saying that his mom won't be able to be there. So document every single thing you can.
mm-hmm.
Try to get as much as you can of these interactions in writing or in video if you're in a one-way consent state, and consult legal counsel who can advise you on how to approach this.
Mm-hmm. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Spiodi Probes says, not the jerk, how does she get into your house and rearrange things? If she has a key, either get it back or change the locks. If your husband says that she's allowed to rearrange stuff, start rearranging his stuff. You don't have a mother-in-law problem. Well, you do. You have a major husband problem. And OP replies, you're right, it's not just about her anymore. If he won't set boundaries, I'll have to start setting them myself. And Claudery Clumpy says, not the jerk, that call me mama thing is wild. She's not helping, she's taking over. You're the mom, not her. Your husband needs to back you up, not play middleman. Hold your ground. And OP replies exactly this. I'm the mom, not her. I just want respect and support from my husband, not someone trying to replace me. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk If My Husband Tells My Mother-in-Law to Stop Touching My Pregnant Belly? My husband and I are in a fight right now about this. I recently found out that I'm pregnant, and my mother-in-law thinks that it's okay to touch my pregnant belly. Before we got pregnant, a year ago, and a few months ago before we were pregnant, I told her that I will not let anyone besides my husband touch my belly because it honestly makes me super uncomfortable. She acted like she understood. Twice since I've seen her, she has gone out of her way to touch my belly. I even try to hold something in front of it, so it's not like it's an accident or anything like that. She did it again recently, and I feel like I just want to scream because I feel like she doesn't care about what I said. I told my husband that he should be the one to tell her to stop because it's obvious that she won't listen to me, and he thinks that I should. So am I really the jerk here? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. And OP's husband needs to step up. This is OP's bodily autonomy on the line, and his mom is disrespecting that. Like, pregnant people do not lose their right to bodily autonomy. They should still have say over whether or not people can touch their bellies. And so, and this is OP's husband's family member who is violating this, so he's the one who needs to take her to task.
I mean, if he's not standing up for OP now, we're going to have a situation like the first story where the mother-in-law can just, railroad over OP anytime they want, right?
That's it exactly. Like, he needs to get used to telling his mom, no, back off before things get worse.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, I do not have a lot of hope for the future.
Yeah, and the thing is this: if your husband isn't standing up for you now, he's not going to stand up for you in the future. This is a relatively small and easy thing to stand up for. It's easy. Tell her no, don't touch my wife. She doesn't want to be touched. Plain and simple. This is something you learn in kindergarten. Kindergarten kids can understand this. Mother-in-law can understand this, right? You don't touch people unless people want you to touch them, right? Not too hard. If he can't even put forth the most mediocre level of effort to tell mother-in-law, tell his mom to back off, then, there's the future isn't looking good. It's looking pretty bleak.
Right. And like, don't let mother-in-law do any of these, oh, I didn't mean to, oh, I forgot. OP literally was holding something in front of her stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Mother-in-law knows exactly what she's doing. It's a control thing. She believes she is entitled to touch OP's stomach, regardless of OP's wishes. And that is a problem. It shows how little she actually respects OP as a person. She sees her just as a vessel for giving her a grandchild.
Yep. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Hey Pesky says, my go-to move when I was pregnant was if somebody was non-consensually touching my belly, I would make direct, uncomfortable eye contact with them, and I would reach out and I would touch their belly. Not the jerk. Your husband should be your ally in helping you enforce bodily boundaries. And somebody, 123 says, that's the only power move that works. When I was in nursing school, one of my friends/classmates was pregnant. Another classmate kept rubbing my friend's belly during clinicals, and my friend was getting visibly upset and told her to stop several times. So I walked over and I grabbed the offending classmate's belly and I jiggled it. She was horrified, and I said, "What? I just thought that we were all making each other uncomfortable by rubbing each other's bellies. I get why friend's name is upset. She's being protective of her pregnant belly, but you and I are just fat. No harm done for us, right?" She called me a bee and stormed off, but my pregnant friend was super happy about it. And NoAd5996 says, I love this. My signature, while pregnant, when an actual total stranger would walk up to me and lay hands on me, and I would ask, what are we having? Like, seriously, you wouldn't believe how often they would say we, was to stare at them solemnly and say expressionlessly, it's a tumor. The looks of aghast horror were priceless. And Jesse L1324 says, I once blurted out, my new baby brother. And let me tell you, whew, I thought the lady was about to have an aneurysm and call CPS. I was 26 at the time, but I still looked like I was a freshman in high school, so that probably added to the effect. And Zoshishti Shashanani says, my go-to reply was, kittens, I hope. And RMDG84 says, I always said, I'm hoping for a baby dinosaur. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not allowing my mother-in-law to babysit at my house because she goes through my stuff? I came home from work last week to find some of my clothes on the couch. When I asked what was happening, her exact response was, I was going through your closet and I found some great options for a date night that I have this week. I have noticed that our mail is sometimes opened, specifically from banks. We have both asked her not to touch our private things. Baby is 5 months old, and although we have paid 5 times a week daycare, she asks to watch him once a week. Now, I have finally put my foot down, and I said that if she wants to watch him, it has to be in her house. She is so mad at me, and apparently I am entitled, and I don't appreciate how much she is helping us when she babysits. I am at a loss for words. She says that she sees me as a daughter, and that's why she feels free to do that to our stuff. We don't have that kind of relationship. It's just her trying to justify her actions. My own mother would never behave like this and invade our privacy. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. What she's doing is not okay. Even if OP was her daughter, OP would still be entitled to privacy. And the emotional manipulation here is so uncool. Like, she's trying to paint it off like she's doing a huge favor. When OP and her husband are already paying for, like, 5-day-a-week childcare. So the only person this arrangement is benefiting is mother-in-law.
Yeah, well, also, like, if mother-in-law, I'm like, I would be happier to take care of a kid in my own house, in the comfort of my own home, and not have to leave, than go over to someone else's house.
Then you don't get to steal their stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the audacity of, like, going through OP's closet. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to take this for my date night.
Yeah, if it was really about caring for the child, then it would be, then she wouldn't have a problem caring for the child at her own home. This isn't about caring for the child. This is about going through OP's stuff. This is about snooping. It's about spying, right? And control. So she's doing this because she wants a foot in the door and she wants to go through OP's stuff. It's very little about caring for the child, I speculate.
Yeah. And so it might just be best to take away her babysitting privileges entirely and just put the kid in daycare 5 days a week.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to sell my heirloom jewelry just to fund my mother-in-law's birthday party? So yeah, it's been eating me alive, and I don't even know where to start. Honestly, my husband and I don't have a lot right now. Bills pile up, groceries ain't cheap, and we barely make ends meet. We're not starving, but it's tight, real tight. So he came to me one night and said, hey, you think maybe you could sell that necklace from your grandma? I just froze. The necklace? The one that I inherited when she died? The only thing that I have left of hers? He said that he needed the money to throw a birthday party for his mom, like a full-on event. Food trays, decorations, catered, the works. He said that she deserved it, and everyone will be there, and we can't show up looking cheap. I told him no, like immediately. No way I would be pawning something that personal just so that his mom can have a bougie birthday bash. I literally said that necklace is all I have left of her and I'm not selling it for anyone. He looked at me like I had slapped him and said that I was being selfish, that it's just jewelry and that his mom has done so much for us and it's the least that we could do. But like, why is it always me sacrificing something? Why can't he sell his PlayStation or his sneaker collection? Why is it always my stuff? My peace, my boundaries on the line. And now he's barely talking to me, just sulking around, saying things under his breath like, guess we'll just be the embarrassing ones at the party. I feel like I'm being punished for holding on to something that matters to me. Something that isn't even about money. It's about her. But now I'm starting to question myself. Was I wrong? Was it that big of a deal just to let go of the necklace for one night of family unity? I don't know anymore. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. And OP, I would reevaluate this relationship. What are you actually getting out of it? It seems like your husband is putting you below his mom, below himself. He's basically just using you to fund his lifestyle. Like, he wants you to sell something that is deeply personal and sentimental and irreplaceable so he can throw his mom a fancy birthday party. He's not willing to put his own stuff on the line. He's not willing to sell his items because he cares about himself more than he cares about his mom, but he also cares about you less than both of them.
So, I have a real problem with the way he's behaving here. And I think that this may be one of those situations where OP should get a safe deposit box and put the jewelry there for the time being, at least until they can make sure that he isn't going to be able to sell it. Next, an heirloom piece of jewelry isn't that something that you sell to throw a birthday bash. It's something that you sell if you are starving or you have to make rent and that's the only thing that you have left in order to do so, right? Like that's it. Those are the times that you sell it during an emergency when you have nothing else left to go, right? And preferably you sell it to a family member so that it stays in the family, right? No, what he's asking here is absurd. You don't sell an heirloom necklace for a fancy party, right?
Right.
You don't. You just don't. For not even it's like if this was something that OP was all about and they didn't care about the necklace, maybe if they really wanted to, but honestly, it's tacky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um this is not a reasonable request at
Mm-hmm.
all. He has things of his own that he can sell, that he can put on the line. It
Right.
doesn't need to be OP footing the bill for this party. In fact, it shouldn't be OP because
Mm-hmm.
it's his mom.
Yeah, well, and the manipulation and guilt tripping
Yeah.
going on here is so ridiculous. Like, I am deeply concerned for OP in this relationship because it seems like her partner doesn't value her.
Mm-hmm.
And I would honestly be, again, consider whether this is really a relationship you should stay in. What does he actually bring to the table other than emotional manipulation?
Yeah. And I also wonder, like, if they had actual money saved up, would he just take money out of their joint account to pay for
Oh, I
this
don't doubt
party?
it.
Right? So, the thing is that I would be very cautious if I were OP and I would consider what the future holds for this individual.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, there's a sunk cost fallacy where you pour a lot into a relationship and you want it to really work out, but sometimes it's best to kind of, you know,
Cut your
cut
losses.
your losses and run. And this might be one of those times. I mean, I hate to be on the divorce train, but
I'm always on the divorce train. Not always, but I feel very confident on the divorce train here.
yeah, I think in this particular case, this might be past salvageable if he's wanting to pawn stuff of OP's, and this seems like something that OP always has to make the sacrifices and
Mm-hmm.
everything like that. There's a lot of resentment I see in this post as is. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What did the elbow macaroni say when asked to make a decision?
Oh, I would say that the elbow macaroni probably wanted to pivot on it, and that doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless you know something about the elbow macaroni very specifically, and is that the elbow macaroni was not actually elbow macaroni, it was ball bearings, and the ball bearings then were able to like rapidly turn things, and so that's why.
let me noodle on it.
Oh.
And it's National Macaroni Day, and it's also International Peace and Love Day.
Ah. So, be peaceful and be loving, and don't let your mother-in-law interfere in any of your business.
Yes, and maybe eat some macaroni
Yeah.
while you're at it.
And eat some macaroni.
I mean, macaroni does make me feel more peaceful.
And I have Mega Mint. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Manic Monday, folks. I hope your Monday is off to a great start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on mother-in-laws and unsupportive husbands.
When you're married to someone, it's important that you prioritize your partner and not let your parents steamroll them.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!